Maybe not. Oh, there it goes. Hello and welcome. As always, I'm your friendly neighborhood Dungeon Master Peter. Today with me are my adventurers who finally found land. We have, ahoy! It's the Beryl! Rachel playing Beryl. We have, these maps are totally outdated, Captain. Travis playing Talbot. And we have, no, I wasn't sleeping. I was simply resting my eyes on the cronets. Kyle playing Tetsu.
Asa.
I was about to say hello, my friendly companions, but Kyle already did it.
Hello.
Weather.
And as the Nightbot suggested, if you'd like to check out the rest of the videos, starting from way back when with probably a totally different group of people, you can check out the beginnings of their adventure on YouTube. Path of Two before the quest. Back then, you would see the dramatic growth in quality of our sound and everything, and how younger we looked back in those days. Because we've been playing this game for about 7 years now. I'm kidding, it hasn't been 7 years. I only level you guys up once a year.
And I am fine by that.
I mean, if we really wanted to do it by, like, time frames, that's probably how it would go. Oh, every couple of months you guys would level up. If you do it anime style.
I mean, that's pretty much how we have been doing it, is every couple months.
Yeah. Honestly, I've always pushed it back every time someone's asked. So, for those of you in the party
Cough, Sarah.
who
Cough,
kept
cough.
asking, it kept being pushed back.
I kept telling her to shut up.
I know.
It's like, when are we gonna level up? Never. Not anymore. You actually lose a level.
What's a level?
I would like.
That though instead though, could like everybody else level up like normal and person grad and go down.
See, normally I would, but then it would just get to one of those either petty things or party conflicts. But if
Yeah,
It's true.
but then maybe they'll learn.
what?
No.
That's a different
No.
conversation. But for those of you who are in the chat and have some redemption points, if you'd like to affect what's going on in game, we have, I think it is Wild Magic for 5,000 points. I will roll a D100, and one of the players, either of your choice or at random, will be affected by the Wild Magic chart, whether it's the Wild Magic chart inside the book or anyone I find online. So that will be fun. You can play that at any moment. That being said, all my adventurers ready?
As ready as we're gonna
I'm
be.
gonna be. Hey.
Alright, so before we get going though, if you haven't checked out last week's episode, this all will be spoilers. So go check that out. So where we left off, our group kind of came into the important moments of this voyage. They got to the sea's colon. They made a choice whether to either A, aid the Dragon Slayers by flanking the North Stars, B, flank the Dragon Slayers by aiding the North Stars, or C, just go in the middle and not do anything. Our group decided to aid the Dragon Slayers and flank the North Stars. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Dragon Slayers are the ones who helped Greenest out and kind of took back that land. It's also the organization where Typhon and Iris are originally from. The North Stars, however, are a religious organization that Senguine was a part of, that worship Thor, Odin, and the northern mythology of it, while their main kind of brute force people are Dragonborns. They put a warrant on Senguine's head because they blamed him for the massacre of Worcester that brought Cthulhu onto the plane. So that's why they kind of had to pick between one or the other or in the middle. Right now the group is heading off to the land. Oh yeah, this is right. You know, I realized that my head is not a Google Translator, nor it is a pretty secure bank for knowledge sometimes. So I forget to... I do everything in my head, but I forget to write it down sometimes. So we are going to go to an Inferno. So all the locations in this land is going to be in Inferno. So do any of you three speak it?
Inferno.
Correct.
Why you gotta
You know,
call it
funny.
like that? Inferno.
You know, funny enough, Thorough did.
No, I don't.
Okay. So what
That was
what
gonna be
what would
Sarah
happen? Sarah and Typhon does too. So what's gonna happen is I will go ahead and do a little copy pasting. As in, I will have the Facebook Messenger up. I will also post it in the Twitch chat, so everyone who is watching can have it in the Twitch chat for a little bit. But those who are not watching the Twitch, it will be in our Facebook section. All right. So I have that up and ready. And as always, we're going to have our good friend Talbot do her best to pronounce these words, because we know we're not going to. And since Talbot's going to do that, at the end of the game, I will reward Talbot with either 20 gold pieces or a potion of greater healing, whichever one she wants.
Or a puppy.
Or a magical puppy that will fetch anything that Tetsu desires. But it's Talbot's.
Damn straight.
All right. So we left off.
Can be made of Labrador.
You know, just for that, yes. All right. So where we last left off, the group did decide to aid the Dragon Slayers, and this is how they aided them. They cast spells, but they weren't trying to hit anyone. They were trying to do as minor damage as possible, but convincing enough to where it looked like they were aiding, which they did. The Dragon Slayers ended up winning that fight. So this is for the player knowledge right here. The Dragon Slayers did end up winning that fight due to you guys' distractions. With the aid of Eugene's magic on the ship was able to wiggle its way through the sharp curves and tunnels of the sea's colon. And yes, we come up with these names on the fly. That's what we do, yo. And at the very end of the sea's colons comes a very loud lightning strike onto the ship with Senguine and a brand new set of armor and a brand new hammer. Along with Tetsu at his side. You guys can see back to you guys that, the ship is kind of reforming, and that you guys have passed the sea's colon. It went by relatively quickly. Kind of like a roller coaster. You guys went extremely fast through it, so luckily nothing from the sea's colons had time to attack you guys. We'll go ahead and take it from the moment where Senguine and Tetsu landed, and you guys are now sailing safely to the land, which Typhon will say in a victorious, yay, now onwards to the land of. Let's go ahead and get that. This may change depending on if I already gave it to Sarah or not. So everyone in the Twitch.
To my yellow. Or yellow. To my yellow.
And we're going to make sure that your Dungeon Master keeps track of this too. He's going to definitely write it down because he doesn't want to forget. And we'll take it from there. So pretty much we'll go with Tetsu. We'll have Tetsu lead it, since you guys did land. And Senguine is, from this point, to give Eli some time, Senguine will just fall over unconscious.
Tetsu's gonna immediately just kind of look at his hands, just kind of like amazed that he was just flying. Just kind of like in shock.
You said that we went through the seas colon pretty fast, pretty quick, and then nobody had anything, chance to really attack us, so I'm fairly sure Beryl's being sick somewhere.
Tetsu? Tetsu, Senguine, how was your quest?
He's gonna look over at Senguine, who is passed out, and go, "Oh, it was a success. He definitely got his god's blessing back."
That's new. And I point towards the hammer that he didn't have before.
Yeah, that was an interesting process. He got his lightning spear somehow. Broke that down. Broke down his. No, sorry. Was it his lightning spear, or was it his glaive?
His glaive.
I thought it was his glaive.
He broke his glaive. Made a hammer. And now he's got this hammer instead.
I cast Detect Magic.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
12.
Alright, you do, like, you detect magic. It is very magical enough that it makes you throw up.
So, I try to go to the edge of the ship and vomit. I don't know if I make it.
You do. We'll say you had enough time to just go.
Beryl just looks over.
It was meant.
He isn't the only one being sick, right?
Nope. It was magical.
It's not how one usually describes being sick, but sure.
Nope. It's very magical. I've never had magic ever make me throw up like that before. This was a very new experience for me. Does anyone have any water?
Get some.
He's
surely
get-
not, but I don't have
He's
any.
gonna. Tetsu's gonna look over at Senguine and go, "Oh God, I guess I'll make the joke since he's unconscious." Yes, there's plenty all around the ship.
Ahoy!
And he's going to like mimic Senguine's voice when he does that.
I'm not even looking, I just assume it's Senguine, and I just go, "Oh, Senguine, thank God you're awake." And I turn around, and I just still see him laying on the floor. And then I look at you and just... I'll deal with that later.
Oh,
So...
she's gonna reach into her pouch and she's gonna pull out one of her little like tea crystals. She's gonna hand it to Talbot. Like, you can, it's like candy. You can suck on that, get a taste out of your mouth for a little bit. If you want, I'll go down and get you some water.
I'm not really in the mood for sweets. I'll just take the water.
Hello.
As you take the...
Downstairs, get her some water and come back
Yeah.
and give it to her.
as Beryl comes back up and, hands the water, Typhon will come over to you guys and say, "Well, we made it past the sea's colon. How is everyone feeling about that?"
Well, we were able to make it out alive, so I would say that was a success.
Perfect. Glad to hear it. Everyone looks good. Senguine looks like he got his power back with a nice little upgrade.
Yeah, you want to help me move him back downstairs so that way he can rest and not be out in the open?
Yeah, but before we do that, Talbot, do you still have some of your magic left over?
I have a little bit, yes.
Perfect. He hands you an egg and asks you to crack it while channeling your magic through it.
I do it.
Alright, go ahead and roll me, we'll call it a spell check. So it's pretty much going to be your d20 plus your proficiency and whatever your spells are based off of.
Okay. So it's if my spell attack modifier.
Yeah,
or
there.
spell attack stuff.
Yeah, but you're not actually attacking anything.
Natural 20.
Oh, okay. Love it. So as you...
Just as soon as he grabs it, just...
Well, as soon as he grabs it and, like, Talbot just said yes. This moment, you just did it so easily. At first, when you first start to kind of challenge your magic into things, it's a little difficult. Now it's just, you're getting so fluid with it as though you're running your hands through water without any resistance. As the eggs crack open, a burst of magic just floods the whole ship, and actually transforming it into kind of a much bigger ship, a much nicer ship, and with a lovely flag on top, more like what you guys been traveling on. If you guys remember the miniature I have, but it's just like a little bit more bigger than that. With the symbol of J, which is always on Typhon's shirt. And he goes, perfect. You each should have your own rooms now.
Sorry, I'm writing things down.
Well, so why weren't we sailing on this ship to begin with?
Eugene wanted to see how you guys did without having your privacy.
Oh.
So he told me once we passed the Sea's colon, so if we ever passed it, that we should be sailing back into my homeland in style, and at least by then you guys should have worked together enough without ripping each other's heads off by being cramped up together for so long. This should be your reward. And he attuned it to Talbot's magic, so Talbot was the only one that can actually activate it.
Immediately, I just sit crisscross applesauce where I'm at on the boat, and then I get out my book, and then I start thinking, how can he attune a thing specifically to me as an arcane caster? So I start writing out formulas, trying to figure out how he did it.
Right. And as you are you doing that, Typhon will go to like the eggshell and just pick it up and like rip off a piece and start eating it. Want some?
Sweetie, are you eating the shell?
Oh yeah, it turns into chocolate.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
You want some?
Almost makes Eugene a little more likable. Not really.
All right. That's
I'll try a little bit of this magical candy, but only a little bit because I don't want too much.
that's fine. So it's nice savory
Hey,
taste.
You'll try magical chocolate egg candy from Eugene, but you don't want sugar rocks.
Rocks are not meant to be eaten.
It is a sugar rock.
It's a rock. It's not meant to be eaten.
Tetsu's
Beryl
gonna
is
go
really
over and
frustrated
pick up
now.
the
She's
legs
gonna
of
let
Senguine.
Let me help you there. And then Typhon and Tetsu, there's a lot of T's in the group, bring Senguine down below to his quarters room. So the way the ship is, obviously you have the first deck. Below it is the cargo space. So the cargo space doesn't actually change. But there is a third floor now, which is your guys' location. You guys have about a 25 by 25 foot room. It kind of looks like a mini house, like a, what is it called? A townhouse door. It's a little 20 by 20. There's about 10 feet in between each of the little boxes of what is called you guys' room, and each of your rooms are labeled. And there's a little study and a little like relaxation area at the end of the hallway. past your guys' rooms. So there down below, does Beryl and Talbot want to do anything while they're taking Senguine's body down below?
Well, did they give me the magical candy? The
Yeah.
magical chocolate?
Yeah, he'll give you half the egg in case you want something for later.
I only take like a tiny bit off, and then I taste it. Besides a hopeful sweet sensation, does anything else happen?
It reminds you of chocolate you had as a little girl.
Too sweet. And so I put it down. That was just a joke. It was okay, but she only took a little bit and then just put it on the ground. And then it's just manically writing formulas and going back into that.
All right.
Beryl just stares at her in frustration. Remembering the time that she offered tea to Tetsu and Tetsu turned it down and made his own damn tea. Now she's offered candy to somebody and they refuse, but they'll eat somebody else's candy.
One was a rock. The other is a magical egg that turned into chocolate.
Look, it is a tea rock. It is sugar.
It is a rock.
The other one's an eggshell. You don't have to eat eggshells either.
Yeah, it turned into chocolate.
But it's still an eggshell.
Okay.
It turned into chocolate.
Rock is too.
Here. I'll settle this. He likes arcane chocolate. He doesn't like divine rocks. Okay. It's just a preference.
Wait, who's telling us that?
Oh, there you go. A pigeon flies away.
The metagaming pigeon that just briefly speaks Dwarven.
For a brief moment. So as you guys are kind of like looking at each other, we'll have Beryl look over, and Core is the one driving the ship right now. She's getting a little better at it. You can see a little bit more confident. Gus is at her shoulder with a little like captain's hat on and everything. And the Penguin has a little pirate outfit on as well, with a little peg leg. During this day, Senguine's going to be out, aka for a couple of days, depending on when Eli shows up. So what do you guys want to do, either today or until we dock?
Tetsu's gonna go back up top to where Core is. Go stand next to her. While just staring forward, reach over, pick up the hat from her head, and put it back on his head.
She looks at you, snaps your neck, takes the hat back. I'm kidding.
Oh shit! I guess we're getting a new character today.
She'll go.
Immediately heals you so you don't die.
Like, as your blood is clogging,
Fucking took the hat.
she'll just go, see, I knew you still liked me.
He's just gonna like sigh and just keep looking forward.
Alright. Anyone else?
Eventually, I know that I want to speak to Core,
Okay.
but I want to actually talk to Core.
Yeah. Alright, so anyone who wants to talk to Core, that will happen on whatever day we get at. Whenever Yeslie shows up. So does anyone have anything they want to do that's not related to Core? Yes, Tetsu.
While standing there, I'm assuming that the Penguin is on the opposite side of me. He's going to reach into his little pocket, pull out a gold coin, and hand it off to the Penguin.
He'll take it and give you change and copper.
He's just gonna put it in his pocket and go, pleasure doing business.
He tilts his little penguin pirate hat.
Tetsu's gonna turn and make his way up to the crow's nest, as he always does.
Alright.
As we're gonna call it from now on, it is not the crow's nest, it is the raven's nest.
Oh, the raven's perch?
I'll take the raven's perch.
Alright. make this perch magical so he never leaves it. So I don't have to worry about melee sneak attack from him. All right.
Eventually, I get bored of the thing I was doing, and then I start thinking about different formulas instead of like, ooh, I wonder what happened if I would do this. And so I start writing the formulas for the spells that I have picked for the leveling up.
All right. As you are thinking about that, Typhon is going to walk over to you and ask, "Hey, Talbot, can I speak to you in private, please?"
Yes, sure.
We'll go and... Shall I go for it?
I was just closing my book and then gathering my things, putting them in my bag, and standing up. There was no dialogue.
Okay. He'll guide you to the front of the ship. Just no one's here, and kind of a little bit out of air sight with everyone as well. He goes, "So, how are you enjoying the trip?"
The sea is the sea.
Have you ever?
You know, there is. I have never been on the ocean for such a long time. But you know, waking up and seeing the waves every single day with no change has been rather difficult. But I'm holding on and keeping myself occupied in formulas and in writings and things of that nature.
Happy to hear that. So we will be docking in the nearest town in about 5 days. But there's something I need you to prepare for me before we get there.
What is it that you need?
I need a magical cage.
A magical cage?
Correct. That can hold a demon.
A magical cage that can hold a demon. Okay. What are we talking? Are we talking a 10 by 10, 15 by 15? Are we looking for a bars, or are we looking for just complete enclosement with no sight or no holes for breathing? What exactly are we looking for?
A cage with bars would do, and as long as maybe some chains to bind their hands and legs.
Do you already have a cage prepared for such a change?
I do. I just don't have it magical.
Show me, and then I'll see what I can do.
Alright. He'll take you downstairs. He'll get all the way to the 3rd floor. And in the little like lounge area, which they have some like bookshelves and everything, he will pull down like a book and to reveal a secret room. As making sure no one's around to see this, and then have you and him walk into it. It is about a 30 by 30 room, with a lot of statues in it that you saw before back in Eugene's dungeon. I guess suits of armor, and about a 10-foot square cage. Well, actually, I think it's a 20, but we'll call it by 10. And you can see that there's already some writing on the bottom of the cage, but it is an inferno.
I'm not familiar with the script. Are you familiar with this writing?
I would hope so. I wrote it.
Oh, what language is it?
Inferno.
Does it say anything pertinent to what I need to do?
I would just solid. It would make your magic solid on here. So as much magic as you can dump into this cage, the better.
And at this point, she takes off her backpack, and then she will lower the hood and remove the jacket, just kind of revealing an elegant mix of red and blue, with gold decorations throughout her entire wardrobe, reaching to the ground. Very evident the neon glowing tattoo of Is it on her skull, and she rolls up her sleeves, and then she goes, "Okay, let's see what we can do." And then we'll.
Typhon will smile and go, "Oh, I haven't seen those colors in quite some time."
They are of my people.
The Izek Guild, correct?
Yes. It's the guild in which I am a part of.
Picked a good one. Or I guess it picked you.
I guess you could say it runs in the family.
Well, that's good to know. But before you get going, to let you know that if you are funneling this magic, you probably will have to funnel it for a couple of days, at least 4 days.
Oh, I better get started then, shall I?
Alright, but before you do, he'll walk over to the case, open it, go to one of the statues, start to take it apart, revealing Iris, grabbing Iris, putting her in the cage, and then locking it up.
Is there a reason we're locking one of our companions in this thing that is supposed to hold the demon?
It is holding a demon. Just need your magic now.
Okay, and then we'll just...
Perfect. I'll see you in 4 days. Before he goes, he'll drop a little sack and goes, those are good berries. They'll tide you over for your meal and help replenish your magic.
I'll take the sack and then I'll put them on my hip and tie them around so that they're within arm's reach.
And we go, well, may Izek guide your magic to this cage.
I don't say anything. I just go to work.
And he will exit, and then just, as the door closes, you can hear locking mechanisms behind you, and a nice little solid thud.
Iris?
She's, you can tell she's knocked out cold right now.
I think she'll be fine with this.
All right. As you guys... So they're going to be down there for a little bit. Everyone else is kind of in their general locations. I do believe. So nothing out of the ordinary for you guys on this day. Since you guys have your own separate rooms, you won't see Talbot for the rest of the day. You can safely assume she's probably in her own room. Don't want to be disturbed at the current moment. There'll be a sign on her door that says, "Do not disturb." But Typhon will come back up to the top after, we'll say, about an hour and take over from Core. And that would be that day, unless anyone has anything they want to do.
Tetsu's gonna go to his room and curl up with the bear that was still technically out and about that he summoned.
Alright. So when you go to your room, it is exactly as your room would be if you would be living with your people.
Are we talking my people, or are we talking me living with the Emperor?
Your people, as in what they would have in their room. Like, your culture would be in this room.
Okay.
Cultural representation.
Correct. So whatever Kenkus will have as a bed, that's what it would be. And whatnot.
Alright.
Get to the end of the day, Beryl's gonna go to her room and just kind of like sit there and try to understand why her friends don't like the things that she makes.
So your room is, even though the outside is made of wood, the inside is made of stone.
What kind of
So it's gonna be a little bit weird. So you have carpet in your room, but it feels like stone.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, not a problem.
carpet feels like stone?
Yeah.
Well, this homie.
And everything is of your culture, or what you would have if you kind of like stayed back home. Or what?
Is it?
Go
Would you say that it is something that I would have found at my home, or is it something that someone who didn't know me would go, dwarf would like this?
A dwarf would like this.
All right. So for storyline reasons, that makes Beryl feel a little better, because that means that person responsible for making this didn't know her as well as they might think they know her. But they're just making general assumptions based on her race.
Correct. That's pretty much is in every room. There may be like one or two things in there that like pertain to you guys. Obviously, Beryl will probably have a couple of rocks in there of very common value that she would find almost anywhere. Tetsu will probably have a new tea set, because a lot of people have seen him drink tea. You know, those standard things would be in your room. Anything deeply personal would not be. That's great. I love that.
I feel like something in Talbot's room would make that sound.
You know what? That's exactly what you guys hear in Talbot's room.
We wanna talk about that.
One of the small rocks in my room. Something of one of the intermittent value rocks that he left me. I'm gonna take one of those rocks and I'm gonna see if I can't chisel it down into something. Just for funsies, I just want to see if this magical rock's gonna disappear on me or not.
Okay, what are you gonna chisel it down to? Like, you're gonna make like a little like dog out of it or something?
No, I'm gonna try to make a wizard hat. Just
Okay.
a very 2D triangular wizard hat.
Alright, so that would take, without you rolling for it, it would just take a standard flat roll. That would just take you most of the day, or your remaining hours of this day, so you can just take the time and do it.
Honestly, I just wanted to see if the rock was gonna go anywhere. Just gonna give my hand something to do while I think about my things.
Yeah, no. The rock, at the very end of it, the rock does not dissipate.
As I surprise I don't know.
It's okay. We'll go ahead and skip on over to day 4. So player-wise, you guys have 4 more days until you get sorry Woo. To your location. We'll go ahead and have this day kind of, again, being a little bit relaxing, a little bit more roleplay. For those of you, so for Beryl and Tetsu, as you guys wake up, you can wake up at different points in the day, but you will find that Talbot is at the table upstairs, Typhon is driving the ship, and Core is at the front of the ship with Gus and the Penguin, kind of just looking out into the distance. So whenever one of you two, if you guys want to roleplay this day, go for it. If not, I'll go ahead and do what I have planned.
I'm gonna go ahead and walk over to Talbot, who's sitting at the table.
All right.
Good morning, Talbot.
And this is the table that's on the deck where the map is.
Correct. So for player knowledge, Talbot, you are still located down below. But you can still roleplay this, Talbot. You have not left the room. So you will respond as though it is truly Talbot.
Okay.
Good morning. Talbot.
Good morning, Beryl.
I noticed you squatted yourself away in your room last night. What were you up to?
I wasn't really doing much. I was just fiddling with some things in my books and sometimes messing with formulas, and it will create something that wasn't desired. And so I was just fine-tuning some formulas that I had been writing.
Sounds fun. Sometimes when I'm doing cooking with my sister, we work on some recipes. That's kind of like working on formulas.
It is in a sense. You're taking something and then you are heating it, redoing it, or preparing it for some sort of end goal. And with cooking, it comes to a delicious meal. And in my case, it is in other magical effects.
Well, what kind of magical effects are you trying to do?
I sort of had been thinking about some things. I'm starting to think about what if I could turn a creature or a person into a creature. And so I sort of been thinking about that, and the formulas were just in my head, and so I was attempting that, and I accidentally turned my writing utensil into a turtle, and it took me about 5 hours for me to turn it back into a pencil, and then it got me thinking about other things as well. Yeah.
You're trying to turn pencils into turtles?
No, that was just a negative side effect of what I was doing. I wrote some equations that were incorrect, and so I was adjusting.
Oh, so like the next time we fight somebody, maybe you turn them into like a bunny rabbit?
Or maybe I turn a person that we are fighting up against into a bunny rabbit, yes.
You ain't gonna turn us into anything, are you?
No.
Does it
I
look
mean,
like
I would tell you, I am not really a liar. I have no intentions of turning you into an animal or a bunny.
What if I make you really mad?
Then you just make me really mad. I don't turn people into animals because they make me mad or upset. I do it for strategic battle opportunities.
I'm glad that you can keep things so concise in your mind. Sometimes I let my emotions run a little wackadoodle.
Emotions and logic and reason should be separated as much as you can. Although I understand that it is quite difficult. I sometimes have that difficulty, but we live and we learn.
Sorry.
Well, I guess I better go find some other people. I mean, have you seen Iris the entire time we've been on this ship? I mean, I thought she was just getting seasick like me, but she hasn't come out of her room, not at all.
You can say no, it is not a lie.
Okay. No, I have no idea.
Alright, well, I might put some effort into looking for her. Tyson said he needed to have a chat with her, and I don't think he's seen her either. She might be avoiding him, which is not good in an emotional sense. She needs to get this figured out before we get home.
Yes, I would say that is a thing that needs to happen, and soon, yes.
Maybe I'll go ask Tetsu. He's been up at the top of the ship the whole time. He's probably seen her walking around.
It is possible. She could also just be in her room. Although I don't know.
A new room now. I wonder if anybody told her.
I'm sorry?
I said that's true. She might be in her room now, but I don't know if anybody told her. I mean, would she have just wandered into it? I mean, the ship did change yesterday.
She seems to be of somewhat decent intelligence. I think she would have figured it out.
Well, I like to think we're all quite a little bit intelligent, Talbot, if not as intelligent as you. But sometimes people need to tell us things and things change.
I mean, we are all part of a species that is able to rationalize, talk, and give reason. That gives us a certain amount of decent intelligence that not all other creatures possess.
I feel like they're trying to run me around in circles, Talbot.
I'm just standing here talking to you.
Well, good luck with your equation. I hope you find satisfactory outcomes. Turn your pencil into too many different things.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy your day on the sea again, and don't get sick.
No promises. Turn around, walk away.
Turn around, walk away, go to edge of ship, puke over edge of ship. Ah, I proved her wrong.
The most awkward conversation Talbot has had in a while.
Don't metagame these questions. Don't metagame these questions.
Don't get seasick. You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do. Proceeds to walk over to the edge of the ship, force herself to throw up, and then look at him and go, or look at her and go.
So Beryl's gonna make the rounds to try to find as many people as she can. So she's gonna go say hi to Core, wherever Core's at, and talk to her about how she, doing a good job handling the ship and how proud she is that directionally speaking, Core's doing a fabulous job.
Thanks. I thought I was doing it too. Well, bro, thank you for the donation. Thank you for dropping by. So we just got a donation from, I'm going to slaughter your name again, I'm sorry. Whip Crew, you donated $10. Thank you so much, bro. For those of you who are unaware, he does play DBD. So if any of you guys do like DBD, go ahead and check him out. He's a pretty cool dude. Much love back at you, my friend. He gave me my challenge on DVD to escape. Just escape and win. Unfortunately, I got Hatch Hunters on Dead by Daylight. But greatly appreciate it, man. I know you didn't have to do it, so I'm going to take a moment to thank you on that part. I feel like I need just like a money pouch for like a widget. Saying to donate so it'll be like gold falling out. We'll work on that. It's what happens when we're live. We take a moment and thank everyone who's here and donates. Because those donations will go back into our Dungeons & Dragons setup. I.e. a better streaming computer, monitors, miniatures, and whatnot. To help the channel grow and continue going. Maybe it will help get us all together in the same room, since we have two players who live in different states. So, we're growing. So we appreciate anything from a penny or so.
We're also in a pandemic still.
That too. With enough donations, we can buy out the pandemic. No? It's not how it works?
The Backstreet Boys won't be able to hold us forever, man.
Alright, we'll go ahead and keep going, but once again, thank you so much. Check out his channel. So Beryl went over to Core. Core would just, say her core things of, yeah, I thought I was getting better. Did you know Tetsu likes me? He's starting to warm up to me.
Sweetie, it does seem like people are taking a hard time with me, though. Like, I keep trying to make friends, and everybody just keeps pushing me away. I don't understand what's going on.
that's all the dialogue I have right now. Please check back later.
For another 10 cents, you too can continue talking to Core.
You know what? Since that, I'm gonna sidetrack again here, but because I'm in a greatly great mood because of the donation. If said donator would like to do a wild magic ability on someone, whether it be myself or one of the players, I'll go ahead and give that for free. I'll let you decide whether it's the players or myself. I'll let you know.
You take a cast vote. Who wants it to be on the DM?
Well, too bad the cast don't have a say in it. Since Whip Cruel donated at 10, I think that's lovely enough to do. But Beryl, who are you gonna head to next?
Well, seeing as the only other person I can talk to who will talk to me, it's probably Tetsu.
Well, does Typhon?
If I walk to any other character, I'll get one line of dialogue.
There's Typhon in that one random crewmate that had lines.
Yeah, he had 3 lines in season 3, and hasn't really been active.
Well, he probably don't know much then.
Just saying, there's plenty of people on the ship to talk to.
I mean, I could go find Typhon. I don't have a whole lot to say to Typhon because he avoids everything I don't want to talk about. But
Cause fuck that guy.
no, I'm gonna go ahead and climb up the crows now and talk to Tetsu because I know it annoys him.
Alrighty. Alright, so I guess you would hear clank, 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 flop.
I think I had that.
Do
much
I,
info,
though?
do I?
Barrel has
Am
little.
I
Okay,
there?
to be fair, Barrel has little legs, but I don't know. Tetsu, you let us know. Are you there?
No, I'm actually not.
Oh, that's right. He went to his room.
He climbed all the way up there.
I was spooning with a bear.
The next day,
Climbs all the way up there and gets a note. Be back. Lunch break.
Stay up there. I think it's cool. This is the first time he ain't been up there and somebody else gets to sit there.
hey, you move your feet, lose your seat.
This is true.
Better watch out for that bear now.
Just remember, bears know how to climb trees. Just saying.
There's no honey up there.
That you know.
There's just one fine honey of a bear.
A roll. A bear roll. Anyway, so Bear, when you get to the very top, you won't see anyone there. It's an empty crow's nest.
I'm gonna crawl in anyway and just see what I can see for about an hour or so. I'm still keeping an eye out for my friends, seeing if they come up on deck. If I see Tetsu, I'm just gonna duck really hard and see if I can't scare him when he comes up.
All right. For that hour, you will see, people coming in and out, crewmates, some of your party members stretching their legs. But within that hour, does Tetsu return to the crow's nest?
No, actually. Now that it's a big enough ship, he's actually gonna start doing some stuff.
All right. What does Tetsu want to do?
So he is going to first off take one of because being that it's the room is like a representation, well, not a representation, but something similar to what would be in the village. There's gonna be a couple training swords that they would have used, so he's gonna take one of those and go out to the deck of the ship where it's nice and large, and he doesn't have to worry about smacking somebody or smacking something in the hallways or the room. He's going to just kind of start doing basic oh god, what is it called? Oh,
Martial arts.
not
Training?
Training? I'm trying to remember what the name of it is, though.
Keto?
Is that what they call it? I can't remember. Where they practice with the
wooden swords?
The bamboo swords.
Yeah. I think it is. Let me double check on that. I do believe it is keto.
Well, keto is a diet.
Is it?
Yeah, keto is in ketosis.
Oh, I thought. Oh, what's that word?
I think they were saying keto as in like P-E-D-O, not T-O.
Oh. Okay.
But he's gonna be doing that. He's gonna be practicing. Because, you know.
Well, okay, so a bukin is a Japanese wooden sword used for training in kenjutsu. So you're practicing kenjutsu? It's usually the size and shape of a katana, but it's sometimes shaped like other swords, just as a wakizashi and a tendo. Some bukins are decorated with mother of pearl work, elaborated carving. Sometimes it is spelled bukin in English.
Yeah, sure. He's gonna be practicing.
All right. Give me one moment. I think the food is here. Let me go get it.
Great. Now that he's gone, let's take over the ship, kill everyone on board.
They must have a really good DoorDash if they can ship all the way to a boat.
All right.
I bet that the
Kiki's delivery service.
delivery price must be expensive.
It's like, 1,000 gold.
1,000 gold, but you get a cheeseburger. The most elitist shit ever.
Person throwing magic into a magic cage with a friend.
And then just assumes that she's okay with it.
See.
Okay. No, he said she type and pulled her on some kind of statue thing, and I was like, God damn it! I just she was like,
Sorry about that.
Because Sarah wasn't here. I'm like, oh no.
All right, so we'll go ahead.
Talbot theorizes things.
So Talbot, throughout the days that you guys see her, for day, it's just gonna go through a normal Talbot routine. But as Tetsu is practicing with his practice swords,
To do something.
Typhon is gonna walk up and ask, "Would you like a sparring partner?"
Give me a moment.
Don't forget to roll for your health for getting to level 7.
Oh wait, we did that. Oh no. Thank you.
Sarah, I can punish you guys wanting to level up for the longest time, and I give you the opportunity, and you guys forget.
I didn't forget. I just didn't do it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I leveled up.
Thanks, babe.
I have almost 60 health now.
Oh, damn.
God, freaking show me my stuff. Boop. Shaboop. Okay, well, that's what Wherefore art thou now equipment? There we go. Because he every morning he's gonna roll. Well, he's not gonna roll. He's gonna reach into that bag and pull out a new animal just to let them stretch, do their thing. What do we got? We get a mastiff. Woo. I forgot what I named the mastiff.
You took all that time for that.
Well, yeah, duh. Because that's also gonna depend upon what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay.
I named him Fang.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, alright. So Tetsu's gonna, as he's doing his traditional practices, he's going to stop for a moment, look over at him, and go, alright, why not?
Perfect. Haven't sparred like this in quite a while, so I may be a little bit lusty, so go easy on me. Alright, so the way this works, go ahead and roll me 3 d20s in just a flat roll.
Alright.
Just keep those numbers in your head.
Oop, that one went off the table. No, stop going off the table. My God, okay. Alright.
Alright, what was your first one?
My first one was a 10.
Alright. So as you guys start out, Typhon starts to take the lead and kind of does sparring practice, so kind of having the edge on you. Just ever so slightly. What's your second roll?
The second one was a 15.
Alright, so as you're seeing, like, okay, he knows how to work a wooden sword. You start to now kind of match him, bringing that back to, like, your kind of what now leading. So the dance is pretty much he led the dance, you are now leading it back. And what was your third one?
17.
Alright. And at the very end of the dance, you end up scoring the point. But you're actually surprisingly surprised on how well he moved. Because he didn't use a great wooden sword. It was just one of those standard wooden swords that you have as well. And he goes, shall we go again?
Tetsu nods and just kind of goes into a ready stance.
Okay. Now, let me switch up my fighting style a little bit. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Perception check. 10 for, I think that was plus 8. We want to make sure. Perception. It is. So that is going to be a 19.
All right. Perfect. You notice that he is in a former style that is known to the Kenkus.
Do I know if it's more offensive or defensive?
This fighting style is more balanced. As though it's more of that waiting game. So, at a moment's notice, it can go to offense, but also at a moment's notice, it can go to defense. It's commonly used amongst Kenkus as they're hunting prey or toying with the prey to kind of like test them out to see where their skills are.
Tetsu is going to go from a ready stance to a at ease stance, where rather than having the kind of like the traditional Japanese sword style where it would be, both hands on the katana ready, he now has it sheathed, but with one hand just below the hilt, the little guard plate.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call that. But he's gonna have his hand just below that with his. I don't know how much not Tetsu. Oh my God, brain just blanked on name. How much he would see of this, but Tetsu's got his thumb like pressed and ready to basically launch the blade out at a moment's notice.
Okay, are you looking
so that way he can
to see if he notices it?
Yeah.
Perception check.
What is that? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's gonna be a 17.
Alright, you safely assured that he has not noticed it.
Okay.
So...
He's just gonna stand there, waiting.
Alright, you both will wait about 10 minutes. During that time, you can tell that Typhon is looking you over, bit by bit. Same with you as well. You're probably looking him over. Out of those 10 minutes pass, like, this is straight on, like, staring, like, no one budges, waiting for the other to make that slight move. Typhon will switch his stance into the more of the offense Kenku stance. And then go ahead and roll me the 3d20s again. Flat rolls. But I'll give you your first one advantage.
Whoop. Ah, don't fall. Damn it. Alright, I need to clear off more room here. It keeps falling because I've got my phone being propped up by a bottle of whiskey.
Hey!
Alright.
Whiskey love.
Alright, that one's number 2. Alright, so, alright. So, do you want them right now?
We'll go with the first one.
Alright. A little better than last time. The first one's gonna be a 13.
Alright, so with this one, as he goes into that offense and charges, he meets you evenly. Like, it's not that he predicted your strike, it's as though his reflexes was able to do just a slight quickerness, because your 13 was up against my 14.
Ha!
So, it's not that he saw it, or was predicting you were going to do that, it's just his reflexes was just that tad bit slighter.
Yeah.
Going from that, what is your second one?
16.
Alright, so going from that, even though his reflexes was slighter, he left an opening that will get you the advantage on that strike. And what is your last one?
18.
Alright, since these are practice swords, even though he will take that strike head on, into whatever, like, sides, gut thing you would, but he's also going to go forward with it, catching you unexpected, and just straight up headbutt you. Your 18 was against my 19.
Alright.
So it was an even match. But that was actually a really close one with these flat rolls like that.
That was. I was like,
So you can safely say that he knows the style, but he's also incorporated it into his own.
Mm-hmm.
So normally Kenkus would just either, in that opening, would either just use their legs and wings, depending if the Kenku can actually fly a little bit, to kind of just go backwards. But instead he just rammed it and took that damage. Instead of just, like, stopping and taking it, he just piled through it to at least do something to its opposer, or to his opposer.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and kind of just bring Senguine up to speed on this moment. So as everyone's doing their own little thing right now, Senguine will wake up in his own room. We'll discuss that in a little bit. And Senguine, which is, we'll say, like, with a morning coffee, for some reason he has, we'll go up on top of the deck, get that fresh air, because you've been knocked out for player knowledge for about 24 hours. And you kind of see that Tetsu and Typhon are sparring. This round got very aggressive. You can tell that Tetsu's bleeding from the nose or head, and Typhon looks like he took that hit. You saw him take that hit, and he headbutt Tetsu. Beryl is nowhere to be found, and Talbot is at that center table of the ship doing Talbot stuff, and Core is driving. Since that's being said, everyone can go ahead and give Senguine his intro.
Oh my god, it's We love you. And we miss you.
We heard nothing of what you just said, Senguine.
Because my mic was turned all the way down. My mixing board had it turned all the way down.
Nice. All right. So that's what you guys see. Talbot, you know, Senguine, Tetsu, and Typhon. Typhon will have a little smile and like a smiling smirk on his face.
Joke's on him. He headbutted my beak.
That's fine. He headbutted your beak.
It's a hard beak, I'm just saying.
Even with the heart, you still got... That still hurt. The headbutt to the beak or the headbutt to your skull. Whatever he hit, it still hurt. And I guess your beak is bleeding a little bit. Enough to cause like a bloody nose. Which is weird on a bird.
I was about to say, I don't know if birds can have bloody noses.
Well, in this world, apparently they can. So we'll give Senguine time to decide what he wants to do. Senguine, what do you want to do as you kind of just woke up? The ship looks completely different. But you are up top with a nice little cup of coffee in your hand. If Senguine drinks coffee or ale.
And I have not done that yet.
It's okay. No.
So give me like a little. Hold on.
Nah, you go level up.
I have an idea to level up, but I have to check my player's handbook first.
All right, go ahead and level up. We'll say that Senguine goes to that table with Talbot and kind of sits there, and they make small talk as much as Senguine and Talbot would do small talk.
Right.
Talking about how to make jokes.
Beryl, we'll say with the noise that was going on down below, we'll say that you spectated the sparring between Typhon and Tetsu. And Typhon will go one more round.
Tetsu's gonna go, of course.
All right. All right, so once again.
Oh, what is it? Okay. We're gonna start like that again. I see. Alright.
Who's facing me in the crow's nest? Like, who has their back to me?
Currently no one. Like, if you're watching this, you're on the side of them.
So I'm seeing both of them from the side angle. I'm not seeing one of them from, like, the back.
Correct. All right, Tetsu. What did you get?
So the first one started out as a 10 again.
All right, so Typhon will take the lead on this one. He kept it the same, but with your 10 to his 19, unfortunately, it looks like he's more of taking control and seeing where your balance is, trying to knock you off your balance. What is your second one?
A 13.
Okay. So you're able to easily dodge at this point because you rolled a 6. So it took you a little bit to catch up with it, but once you saw the rhythm of it, you're able to kind of just predict these next steps and everything. So it kind of brings you back at that level. And what is your last one?
18 again.
All right. As you both kind of like spin around and let's say like thrust forward, you both score at the exact same time because I also rolled an 18. So throughout these 3 sessions, it seems like you both are well even in the style of sword. He was using a little bit of his style with Kenku style, but he is, from what you can tell, a fierce swordsman. He's not afraid to take a hit, nor is he afraid to test his opponent's abilities. So that's what you'll be gathering from that little sparring. If you want to ask any more questions, I can answer those about the sparring.
No, at this point he's basically just kind of memorizing all this information, just trying to, because he always kind of sizes everyone up and just remembers their tactics of how they move, how they counter and things like that.
Just keep in mind that this was with a one-handed sword, smaller than what he carries.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Okay. So after that he'll smile and smirk, and then he'll bow to you in respect.
Tetsu will do the same.
Before he walks away, he'll go, well, let's hope that we actually never have to fight each other.
Tetsu smirks as he turns to walk away and goes, "For both of our sakes, let's hope so."
He'll chuckle at that as well as he makes his way back to the ship. But before he goes, you see him like pull out what seems like to be like a little ice pack and put it on his ribs. Because you did strike.
Tetsu with what?
You did strike one on the side, but when you guys mash, he struck you in your ribs, while you struck him on the other side of his ribs.
Tetsu's just going to just completely just walk off like nothing happened.
He takes no shame. He pulls it out. He takes no shame. He's like, that fucking hurt. What do you want from me? Like.
Oh yeah, no. Tetsu's just like, yeah, I got hit. I'm used to this. It's part of the job.
It is.
Because for Tetsu, he doesn't wear much armor.
Yeah, so you're used to that full impact.
Yeah, so when he gets hit, he gets hit.
Yes. Great, awesome. So he'll go ahead and return to Core, taking control. He'll just kind of like sit down, prop up a chair, and sit down where the steering wheel is. Beryl, what are you gonna do since you're up there? You see Tetsu like walk off and Typhon walk off and everything, but it doesn't seem like Tetsu is in a hurry to go up in the crow's nest just yet.
I'm gonna take the flat of my blade and try to reflect a light down on something and see if I can get anyone to chase it like a cat.
Can I have you cast light on a rock and toss it at Tetsu?
No, I won't do that.
Damn it.
I'm definitely going to try to reflect the sun off of my blade and onto the ground or a table or something, not on a person.
All right. Yeah. Well, actually, let's see.
If I can get anyone's attention at all, just for funsies. Like, I'll do it on the table in front of Talbot. I will do it on the ground in front of Tetsu as he's walking around.
All right. Well, you definitely get Tetsu's attention due to his keen eyes and everything. Because his perception's an 8, so he's not gonna not see this. So
Not wrong.
So we'll say as Tetsu looked over at Typhon putting the ice pack on him and he chuckled. As Typhon, goes up the stairs, Tetsu, you'll see like a light pointing down in front of you and it's kind of like moving.
He's going to look at it and, knowing that, it's clearly a reflection of the light, he's going to kind of look up at where the sun's at, judge the angle, and just kind of look up at the crow's nest.
You see Beryl.
He's just going to kind of look at her and be like, what the hell? And then proceed to make his way downstairs.
Okay. So Beryl, you see that as well.
I'm just gonna sit.
All right.
I don't think it worked.
Especially because he's got a pupper.
All right. So Tetsu goes downstairs. We'll give Senguine a little bit more time to do his thing. Talbot. We're going to the Talbot inside of the room. We'll say that you did spend a night in here. As you awake, what do you do when you awake? How is Talbot's reaction when she kind of slept in this room?
I think the first thing is just to see if Iris is awake.
She is awake.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Talbot.
So I don't know how to tell you this, but I was instructed to make this cage out of magic to lock a demon inside.
I can sense that, and I need your help. Typhon has gone mad, and I need you to release me from this cave and my shackles, so we can hopefully talk some sense into him on why he did this to me.
So he's gone mad because
I believe he's gone mad just because, you know, old feelings has come up. He said he wanted to talk, so I met him in his room, and the next thing I know, I'm in this cage, and you're asleep.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Absolutely.
That was actually not bad. 17.
Her story does sound solid. She sounds solid.
Oh, if it's just a misunderstanding, I could just...
I see the conflict in your face.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like, yeah, okay, let me help you out.
Thank you, Talbot. I believe that, you know, when we should definitely talk to Typhon in private and get him to admit to his deed. Can you go ahead and undo your magic so you can release me?
I think that should take about a day for that to happen, but I'll do what I can.
That's not a problem. You know, I got nowhere to go. I'm kind of stuck.
All right, and then we'll just try to undo it.
Damn, nat 20. All right, so
I'm so conflicted because I know it's a trick, and I'm just like, I can't mitigate it. She believes it.
The one time I get like a bluff check to actually work for me is the one time I don't want it to work. But all right, so that's what you're gonna spend a day to undo your magic.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Senguine, did you finish leveling up?
I did.
All right, so you're upstairs, drinking your ale or coffee, sitting next to Talbot. You did see that Tetsu and Typhon got done with the sparring. Typhon did put an ice pack over his ribs, and Tetsu looked at like this light, noticed Beryl up top, and then went downstairs with his dog.
Yeah.
With his puppy.
My mastiff. My mastiff named Fang.
Cool. So Sanguine's going to do two things.
Yeah.
He is going, and this is me adding canon to what I did in my level up. He is going to just work on using the hammer. Well, okay, so three things. He's going to work on using his hammer and learning how to use it, which, Peter, we still have to homebrew.
I'm actually doing that right now.
Cool. I have some thoughts on that, so if you want to send it to me over chat in like Facebook, I'll give you some of my thoughts as well.
I was writing it, but okay, let's do that.
No, I mean no. Like you write it out like what you want it to be, and then I'll tell you some of the things I was thinking about. We can talk about incorporating that.
Okay.
So he's going to be working on that, and he's also just going to work on physical fitness for a little bit.
All right.
Just his cardio. Get his cardio game up. Do a couple of burpees, here and there. Because basically what happened is Senguine took a level of fighter, and he got second wind to Peter in the middle of battle. Peter, you're gonna fucking hate Senguine. Here's what I did. I was like every fucking third session, Peter takes away Senguine's magic. So Senguine is gonna start leveling up in non-magic shit to stay powerful.
So what you're saying is you got 2 more sessions of your power before I take it away.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
That's about standard.
If it makes you feel any better, he's also not gonna like me because I made myself even harder to hit. So.
Oh yeah, I took defensive fighter, so my AC is +1 now.
Oh.
And I'm gonna get. And the third thing is, the Senguine is gonna ask around to see if somebody has a spare shield.
Oh.
So he can get another AC point.
Oh. All right, you guys are from here on out gonna fight nothing but casters with magic missile. So fuck your AC.
I'll take that.
I will always
take
hit.
That. I don't think you want to do that, but I'll do it.
You have deflect.
I counterspell.
You can't counterspell a magic missile. It always hits.
Oh, I can counter a spell.
Okay.
You just don't roll to attack.
All right. So, we'll go for. Does anyone have anything special planned other than what we just did today? Tetsu.
So, noticing, because he tries to keep tabs on everyone, noticing that Iris has been MIA, he's actually going to, after going to his room, dropping off the wooden sword and picking up his normal sword, he's going to make his way over to her room and knock.
Sorry, I had a little burpees. No response.
He's going to knock one more time.
You hear in Iris's voice, "Go away."
He's then going to proceed to give the Mastiff the command of smell to see if she's actually in there. Because he doesn't trust what's going on, because she's been gone for a long time now. So he's just kind of like,
all right.
Coming out on
so
deck.
This would be the ability scent, I do believe. That's
yes.
Do you have scent up, or tell me
I can pull it up.
exactly?
It's-
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
1 second. It's on my dog. Let's see. Keen hearing and smell is what it's called. The Mastiff has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or smell.
All right. So go ahead and roll me, I guess, a keen sense. Which would be. Does it say what it would be under?
I believe perception.
Okay, so go ahead and roll me a perception check with advantage then.
Now, for doing it with advantage, it's rolling it.
The d20 twice and taking the higher number.
Yes, I thought so. I wanted to make sure that it's the same thing for the checks, because I've never had advantage on a check.
You have? Oh, I mean, not that often Tetsu has.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've hardly ever. Okay, so that one's a 14. Yeah.
14?
Yeah. And then... Oh, but he also gets a +3.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, so it would be 14 + 3, so it's actually 17.
All right. Now, Mastis is a type of dog. Like, is it like a bloodhound dog?
Yeah, it's like a hunting dog. Think Fang from Harry Potter.
Okay. So this is what your math does then. It does sniff, but then it sniffs towards it smells all around. And what it does is it goes in between the end of the hallway, which, I mean, it goes all the way to the end of the hallway and goes back into her room, like back to in front of her door, and it sniffs that pattern about 3 times, and then it stops in the middle.
So when you say it went down to the end of the hall, is that where exactly do you mean end of the hall?
So we'll say that Iris's has like the middle room because there's about 7 of you guys. So we'll say Iris has about the middle. The end of the hall is like the lounging area for you guys, which has enough seating for everyone to have like a meeting, a bookshelf from one end to the wall to the next. So we'll say it's most likely towards whoever's whoever the end rooms. That's where it's like stops. But it looks both ways, like it's confused.
Mm-hmm. He's going to give the dog the command to come to his side.
It does.
And then he's going to put his hand on the doorknob and just kind of twist to see, like just slightly to see if it's unlocked.
It is unlocked, but you will hear as you twist it and everything. I mean it. Leave me alone.
God, this is so difficult because I don't want to metagame either. Now I know what he was dealing with. I'm like,
Question is, would Tetsu respect Iris's privacy enough to leave her alone?
If this was thorough, the answer would be no. So, yeah, he's going to proceed to walk down to the end of the hallway, since since Fang made his way from the door to the end of the hallway to the door to the end of the hallway, then into the middle, and proceed to kind of check why he would have made his way to the end of the hallway, because since the ship has changed to this new form, that means that she would have had to walk past his room to get there.
Okay.
And he's fairly certain nobody's walked by his room other than anyone who is at the end past him. I don't know where exactly you want to put me.
It's fine. Whatever you want. There's about 7 rooms, so you guys can decide. We'll make it even. There's 4 on one wall, 4 on the other. Just making it even, like 4-4. You guys can decide in that pattern where you guys want. But Iris will be
Tetsu,
more in the middle.
Yeah, Tetsu being Tetsu, he's in the end because he doesn't like. Well, he says that he doesn't like people, but he wants his privacy.
That's fine.
So he's gonna make his way to the end of the hall and just kind of start looking over things to see why the dog would have gone there.
Give me 1 second. Senguine, what is your spells are based off charisma, correct?
Correct.
What is your charisma modifier?
Charisma modifier is +4.
All right.
Yes, +4.
Okay, so if I was to determine your DC, it would be 8 plus your proficiency modifier +4. Okay, I got Travis's head. So what's your proficiency modifier?
+3.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's what I needed. Tetsu, go ahead and roll me a investigation check. Because you are investigating that area.
Yeah. I think that's a 7, but I want to double, triple, quadruple check. Investigation 7. Tan 4. Holy shit. That plus... So that's a 26.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was not anticipating getting... So, just to let you know, if we have to go into combat, I'm going to be fucking useless. Kind of like last time when I did all my high rolls. Here they are.
Right? Alright, so you're investigating this, everyone, I'm gonna just ask, is doing the same thing upstairs, correct? Okay, cool.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Talbot would be just doing upstairs. Since we know what Talbot's doing, both locations, Segments is still being fit, Beryl is having a nice day by herself, meditating in the crow nest, whatever. Beryl is Beryl! So, since of your background, Tetsu, enough of what we talked about and what kind of I can sense of it, after taking about, let's say, 10 minutes of... The first 5 minutes is just looking your casual over.
Yeah.
Your other 5 minutes is just doing that nitty-gritty. You've done this enough times to where, at this point, you can do it a lot quicker than most normal people. You do notice that one book, in particular, never comes fully out. There's one book that is slightly different than the others. As in, you didn't catch it at first, but when you went over and kind of felt the books, when we kind of go over, okay, this book is a lot heavier or a lot lighter than what it is. When you got to a certain book, you noticed that it was pretty much hollow.
Yeah.
So the question would be, how do you want to go about investigating this book, if you want to investigate it?
Well, he's going to assume that it's because it's just the nature of his trait being, all sneaky and whatnot. He's going to assume that this is going to lead to some sort of passage. So he's going to assume that it's going to be a pull out or pull down kind of a thing. So he's then going to proceed to check the case to see, the bookcase,
yeah,
or bookshelf, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that there is no there's nothing trap-wise, because again, that's just his nature, where he's like,
Alright, go ahead and roll me a perception check, +8, that's your DC. Unless it gone up due to your leveling up.
Nope.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that for me.
Okay. So, this one is actually not that high. It's going to be a 14.
Alright. You're a little confused by this because you don't see what you're looking for, which is really confusing you. You're supposed to see some kind of dip in the carpet or some sort of where the bookshelf will turn, and you know how it makes that little indent if it's constantly open. You're not finding what you're supposed to find, and you don't know why. You could safely assume it's magic, or you can safely assume that this is a well-made door, that it doesn't leave any marks.
At this point, he's going to give the command for the dog to come to his side as he steps off to the side.
Okay.
And he's going to... Actually, at this point, he's going to return to his room real quick. Grab one of those practice swords.
Yep.
And from a distance, off to the side, smack the book so that way it smacks it downwards to trigger it.
Alright. Smack the book. Okay. Alright. So as you smack the book, it will, trigger, and it will lock into place. And then you can hear... actually, make me another perception. Actually, what is your natural perception? I think it's 18.
Natural or
it's
passive?
Passive, sorry, passive.
I think my passive's an 18.
Alright, we'll go with that because it does sound about right.
Let me make sure though.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be wrong and be Boo Boo the fool here.
Well, I know like you get a +8 to perception.
Oh yeah. Well, I know it's high. I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head because it's one of those things that I don't use every day. Yeah, passive perception's an 18.
All right. So as the book, goes forward and then stops, and as it's supposed to do, you do hear click, 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 like something has opened. Not on your side. Talbot. This is gonna involve you. So you and Iris. Iris is just kind of encouraging you. Making small talk. You don't hear anything from the other side, but after you doing your magic, you do hear, and you do notice that the suits of armor around you, their helmet lifts up, and something inside them starts to activate, and from their neck, the little slit between their neck and helmet, gas starts to come out. And there's about 8 suits of armor in here. 4 on one side, 4 on the other.
Okay. I will try and. Am I getting anywhere close to opening this cage?
Sorry, that was the perfect timing. You got maybe an hour in, so if this takes about 24 hours, you still got about 23. Or you can try to dispel your own magic, by casting dispel magic.
So in a quick desperation, seeing the smoke, I will cast dispel magic.
You have to pass
on my own magic.
You have to pass your own DC.
Okay, so I have to pass a DC 15.
Yeah.
Okay. I do. Natural 17.
All right. So as how many dispel magics do you have prepared?
Well, at the start of the day, I had all of my magic up. I can do dispel magic 2 more times if I needed to.
Okay, so we'll go with this. Since I'm gonna save you the trouble of having to cast all 3 dispel magics. Since you guys hopefully have caught on that I like to do things of 3. So you dispel your own magic. It's not enough to take the whole 23 hours away, but it's enough to take some of it away. So you pass 1 check. Go ahead and do it 2 more times. If you passed the next 2, you got it.
Another natural 17.
Alright, and 1 more time.
Okay, that one is not a natural 17. That is an 8.
It's okay.
No, a 7.
Best 2 out of 3. You got the majority of the cage down. It's just the lock you didn't get.
Is the lock magical as well?
It's partially magic. You can try to undo it with yourself. It'll just be you passing your own DC, but slightly higher, without having to waste a spell to dispel magic. Or you can simply cast another spell, dispel magic, and just get it over with.
I will try and get it over with. I will cast my 1 4th level spell for dispel magic at 4th level.
Alright. Perfect. You got it undone. It is unlocked. Question would be, how are you going to get Iris out from the chains?
Okay, I didn't think about that.
So the room is filling, so we'll say it's about up to your ankle in gas.
shit.
Da na 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 na.
I'm going to. Oh shit, that's only self. I will just try and open it. I'm just gonna try and open it.
Lockpick.
Yeah.
All right, try it.
I'm grabbing a random thing that I can see that can be used as a lock, or using any of my components, anything to try and pick a lock.
All right, roll it with disadvantage.
Yep. Natural 12. Natural 14. So what am I doing?
I do believe this. It wouldn't add your proficiency, but it's a dex-based skill.
Okay, so...
Oh, actually, it'll be sleight of hand, I think.
So 15.
All right. Able to kind of get it. You need to do 2 more times.
Yeah, I'll try it again.
All right.
Disadvantage. That's a 10.
All right. You kind of start to fiddle with it. 1 more time. Come on, you can do it.
7.
Okay. At this point, the gas is up to your knees. You can try again.
I'll try it again.
All right. Does Talbot?
Oh wait. That doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. So clarifying question.
Yeah.
Are there stairs?
There are no stairs in here.
How did I get in the room?
You walk through a secret passage into this room.
Was there a hallway leading into it, or is it a door?
Just a door. You can try Misty stepping.
I see. I can't because it has to be an unoccupied space I can see.
Oh.
So if I can't see where I'm going, the spell does not work.
Got ya.
Fuck.
It is up to your waist.
I'm freaking out.
Oh, no. God damn it.
Are you saying no to me?
Oh, no, sorry. It glitched for a second, and I thought it froze and whatnot. Sorry. The last thing I heard from you was,
I cast Firebolt at the lock to try and break it.
All right.
And this is not to the locks that Iris is trapped in. This is to the locks to the door that I was locked in.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of them. Oh, sorry. Let me clarify. Let me clarify something really quickly.
Yeah.
So since that's something my apologies on that for not explaining it. So when you look behind you, it is just a plain wall. There's no lock, so that mechanism you heard is inside the wall.
Can I go over to where the wall was that I had to walk through and try and like push it or do something?
Absolutely, yeah.
I would like to try that.
All right, give me a strength check.
Oh yeah, my specialty.
Nat 20, power of is it?
It's a natural 5, so a 5.
All right, you push it. Tetsu, you can hear commotion on the other side. Very faint commotion, but you can hear something going on the other side, Tetsu.
You said the book locked in place, right?
Correct.
He's then going to toss the wooden sword off to the side, grab onto the book, and just try to pull, like it's a pull door open, even though he kind of figures it isn't.
Strength check.
Yeah, I don't know what I have. Hold on. This is something I definitely don't usually have to rely on.
And while you're looking that up, does Talbot panic in situations like this, Travis?
Normally she's under her cool. She doesn't know what the miss is, so she's freaking out just a little bit.
If it ever goes over to a lot, let me know.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't terrible. It's a 15.
All right, so you are now like kind of straddling this book as your 2 feet are on the other books, and you're trying to just pull it, and nothing's happening.
All right, then I'm going to proceed to try to push the wall inwards.
Yes. Okay. So we'll go over to Talbot. It is up to your under boob right now, and it's
Not the under.
yeah, under boob, and you can smell it a little bit. So go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
9.
All right. You start to get dizzy, lightheaded, and anything you're trying to do, it will be at a disadvantage.
I will cast a firebolt at the locks that are on Iris.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a attack roll, I guess. Yeah, because it is
At disadvantage?
correct.
Natural 19 and a natural 11 for a total of 18.
That does hit the locks. Go ahead and give me your damage.
Okay. 12 points of fire damage.
All right.
If it's a flammable object, it ignites if it's not being worn or carried.
All right. So we might have some DCs here. It will be Iron Seal. Oh, sorry. What was your chance to hit? No, I already said it. I already said it hits. All right. Your damage is 12.
Yes.
All right. It hit. It looks like it just needs It just needs one more tap before you pass out. Due to it coming, I'll give you one more attack on it at disadvantage.
Do I have the wherewithal to know that this is going to be the last chance?
Yes. Due to your intelligence and everything, and knowing your abilities and whatnot, yes, you know that you have 6 seconds left. What are you gonna do?
Okay, then it's going to be a Scorching Ray this time.
Ooh, are you gonna try to hit 3 different targets?
I'm going to try and hit the one... I'm going to start with the one that's already damaged and try and hit that one. Then if it breaks, I'll go to the other one and break that.
10-4. Before you roll...
Because are there only 2?
I think there's 3. Give me 1 second. I will look it up.
If there are 3, then I will try to do 1 to each.
Because Scorching Ray is one of my favorite caster's abilities. Just because... I think it's cool. I think of it as like Frieza from Dragon Ball Z when he does his beams from his fingers. No. Sunbeam. No. Sacred Flame. Sanctuary. Scorching Ray. You create 3 rays and hurl at a target within. You can hurl them at one target or several. Make a ranged spell attack with each ray. So you have 3 rays.
Yes. So are there 3 targets? Are there 3 locks?
Yeah, technically there's 4 locks, 2 hands, 2 feet, but you can safely assume as long as you damage enough of them, she can take care of the rest.
Yeah, I'll try and weaken the other 3 because I know I already weakened 1.
All right. Do you remember what you rolled to hit on the last one?
At disadvantage, it was 18.
Okay. So I'll let you know. You need a 17 to hit.
Okay. I'm gonna try.
All right.
Here we go. Fuck. That was a natural 20 and a 5. The first one misses. Oh, so close. Natural 20 and a 9 for a 16.
Oh,
that
God.
misses.
These are hurting me.
And 15 is the lower. I miss on all 3.
All right. Oh God, those nat 20s would have been so good.
It would have been.
All right. So you do fall unconscious. We'll say the last thing you see is just Iris like trying to break free and like go for you, but that's the last thing you see as you pass out and fall unconscious. Good try. That was really good. We got about 5 more minutes until we go to break. So we'll wrap it up with Tetsu. You currently have the floor for the 5 minutes.
Did pushing the door do anything?
It did nothing.
Awesome. So at this point, he goes, fuck it, stands back, orders the dog to get back, and then shoots fire bolts at the bookshelf.
Alright, are you going to take off any of the books, or just leave the books on and try to cause a fire in the bottom of the ship?
Yeah, no, I guess he would. He would probably try to just, like, one arm in there and just rip off as many as possible in a row and just aim for, like, one spot in particular to keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting until there's, like, either A, a hole, or B, a weak point.
Alright, so, quick question for you. How often do you play rogues?
I think this is only ever my second or third one.
Alright, how familiar are you with rogues and traps? Or how familiar are you with traps in general?
Define traps. Like, being able to handle them? What?
Kind of, like, how they work and everything.
Well, I know that there's, it's basically a cause and effect kind of a thing. In this case, pulling the book, probably pulling the book and not doing something in particular with the book caused it to have a chain reaction where it triggered in this case, the armor to release the smoke. And so there would be a mechanism somewhere in there where if I can break a piece of it, I can push the book back in and in hope turn something off or open the door.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Because that's pretty much what he's trying to do, is just get this thing open, because he can tell that clearly there's something wrong because somebody is trying to get out, and he's now hearing spells being cast.
Alright, go ahead. We'll say as you push aside the books and trying to find exactly what you're looking for, go ahead and roll me either A, investigation, or B, perception. It is higher than if you do perception, it is higher than an 18, so you gotta get higher than 18 on both checks.
Go. Come on, baby. Can my dog help me?
It will tell you you're a good boy.
Hey, you know. Oh, beautiful. So that is definitely gonna be over an 18.
Awesome.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 22.
All right.
Do I need to roll again? Or
No, that's good. All right. So as you push in the books and everything, you start as you're like, okay, fireball would be the easiest way. Your dog looks at you and kind of like judges you, but you're like, oh wait, that's right. You push the books off to the side and you find a secret compartment, a couple books down, but you're able to press it in. And you have what looks like to be some wires and some magic going on. What is your intelligence, by the way, just so I know?
That is a great question. Come on. Alright, intelligence is a 13.
Alright, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. So, DC, D20 plus your intelligence modifier.
Alright, so that would be a +1 with the modifier. I don't think that's really gonna help. 14.
Alright, actually that's good enough.
Oh god. I was like, +1's not gonna fucking help me here.
This is just to give you the idea. Now, Talbot, you're gonna come into play in just a little bit, so just be ready. But at the same time, we may have to come back to finish this after the break. So as you look at it, you notice that you're not going to be able to disarm it in your normal means of thieves' tools. You're going to have to use magic. You got this idea from seeing Talbot do a lot of her stuff. Okay?
Oh boy.
You just don't know exactly what to do, because you do see that magic is going through... you can safely assume magic is going through these wires, as well as the rune behind the wires are also powering this section of the door. So you're going to either A, have to override it, or B, so short circuit it.
Well, for him, he's definitely just going to resort to short circuit, because he's like, I don't know enough about this, but I know that if I pump enough into this, it'll be enough to, you know, cause a short and cause it to stop or open.
Alright, so as you attempt that, but right before you attempt that, you hear behind you, in Talbot's voice, "What are you doing?"
So at this point,
So when
my dog would have alerted me.
like your dog didn't realize until the person spoke. So as you turn around, you do see Talbot standing about, let's say, 15 feet away from you, right next to your dog. She wasn't there before, but now she is. So before you do anything, we're going to go ahead and take a break, so it gives our players time to think. Talbot, your goal is to stop Tetsu. So I'll give you your break to think about how you can do that. Tetsu, your goal, figure it out. I'm kidding. You can safely assume what you need to do here. Or, if Talbot plays her cards right, Talbot may be able to convince Tetsu that this is nothing to worry about. We'll find out after our break. But for those of you on the YouTube, check out part 2 and let's see what happens. This is getting exciting. I'm loving this. For those of you on the Twitch stream, hang out, which is going to go into small intermission. So see you guys then.